the Diaconia podcast. They walk among you.
Hey, we're back. It's podcast 9. This is Erik again, director-writer of Diaconia. This one's titled Where We're At, I think, and what's going on, and also like why we need your support. So this one, I just wanted to kind of fill you in on where we're at. Shoot 2, that's what part of it is. Yeah, I wanted to let you know where we're at and about Shoot 2 and how this works. So now we got the first one shot. The first one was shot all out of pocket on our part. We had no investors going into it. We have faith in the project. We really wanted to make this happen. We have access to, I have access to a lot of the equipment we needed. I recently got that red camera that we shot on just for this project. I have a lot of the equipment needed for doing other production work that we do. A lot of our expenses really comes down to just having the people that we need. So I'm also working around people's schedules because I have people volunteering because they just want to work on either A, something creative like this, or B, they just really love the idea. So a lot of the cast and crew are involved not for the money, because there's not a lot of money in something like this unless you have backing from a bigger distributor to start with. So this is a little project that's starting right here in Lebanon, shooting right here in Lebanon. We want to include everyone in Lebanon, and that's why I'm doing this podcast, so that people can hear what's going on, how it's going on, why it's going on, and get that behind the scenes feel of what it's like to make something like this when there's no guarantee that you're actually going to be able to go anywhere with it. It's a lot of time, it's a lot of energy, it's a lot of just having some faith and pushing forward and meeting great people and having great people get involved and have faith in that project as well. So for the first shoot, we did our auditions, and our auditions went great. And I still have footage that I believe Brock's cutting for us from interviews from our auditions of local people that came out. And we had so many great people, so many people to choose from for a lot of the roles. So I'm really excited to get some of that out to you. Unfortunately, again, there's no money behind this. So I'm doing it between paying gigs. I'm doing it between family commitments. I'm doing it between dropping the kids off at school. And I'm not crying. It's just, that's just how this works. I mean, this is being done basically on the side because we don't have anyone yet on board, like bigger. And basically our job is going to be to do an amazing job with not a lot of money and do something that hopefully we can then get the imagination of you and the people in Lebanon behind it. I mean, and that's one of the biggest things we want to do. We want to get Lebanon behind this. It's something that if I'm successful, if we can pitch this, it could shoot here the full series. It could shoot somewhere else too, to be all honest, depending who would finance it or who would fund it. But with what we're trying to do is we're trying to do something unique here that then could get shot here. There's so many local talented people here that it's just, that's what I wanted to tap into. I was in New York for 10 years. I was doing acting, filmmaking. I was working at CBS Broadcasting as an assistant in engineering, which was great because I was doing a lot of acting then, and I could say, hey, I got an audition at 2, I'm going to take lunch then, and they'd go, all right, and that's how it works. So it was perfect. But I got a lot of experience at bigger places and met some people. But when I got the job at CBS, I was super excited. It was a temp gig that ended up turning perm. And I thought, yeah, CBS. And I realized in New York, CBS is all news. There was really, I think, BET shot out of that building, except for one soap opera that went under while I was there. It was all news shows, and there was no in to be had. So it was one of those like, yes, no situations. But I worked in New York for free for a lot of years on a lot of independent films, on a lot of student films, on a lot of just projects in general, because that's how you get the foot in the door. That's how you meet people, and that's how you just sort of move up the ladder. So I did that, and then we ended up moving home here, and pretty much I've met so many great people here that are talented and like myself weren't able to, willing to, like just didn't move, but they love film. They love to do film. They'd love to do a project like this. I mean, and if it happened here, they'd be even happier to be able to work on this full time. So I think a lot of people are chipping in for a lot of different reasons. A lot of them is they like the story. They think it's compelling to make something and unique that I think meets all audiences in a way. Like, we have a secular audience and a religious audience for this, because on the secular side, this isn't going to be preaching. It's not a religious series that has a message that it wants to drive home. It actually is based in religious principles, and it's based in those miraculous things that had happened in the Bible that people who aren't religious, they know, they're aware of. So it really has a broad audience, because on one hand, it's going to be introducing people who probably aren't aware of some of these religious principles to religious principles. But on the other side, it's purely going to be entertaining, because we're going to be watching as Ulima comes to town and fulfills her mission of basically putting a team together, figuring out what she's there to stop, and then using the team to stop that. And it is, in essence, a superhero, Defenders style series. And then at the end, though, she's going to go to a new town, put together a new team, and then it's going to have an all new cast, except for Lima, and one or two people are going to come back here and there. But I think it really has that interest of, it's going to be constantly changing. It's going to be entertaining. You're going to be able to watch it for the what's happening next, what's she doing. I bet it's this. Oh no, it's that. It's going to have a lot of different touch points with a lot of different people. So we're not limiting our audience to either secular and or religious. It's, I think, a broad project, and a lot of people are really interested in seeing that and seeing how that goes. And I think it's interesting too, because instead of, so often religious films just realistically tie themselves down to that because they're very dogmatic in their approach, where this film I don't think does. So we're really excited, and I said all that to say that's why a lot of people are involved. So right now, where we're at is, we got some great people involved. We shot our first shoot day. We got some amazing footage. I'm working to try to get some of that out to you. I did get that clip out of Miko running up on the pastor, the father, as he's laying there. We got a bunch of stills of Jalil, who's did a great job as our Raphael. The Holy Trinity Lutheran Church on Lehman Street was just super awesome, and I have to email her. I keep forgetting. I have it on a list to email the pastor and thank her. They were so kind, and Denise was really great. The sexton there, she was like super, just flexible, and allowed us, helped us get what we needed, and helped us get that shoot done in the amount of time we needed, and very informative, and she was very kind. And we've just had so many instances of that where people just have been kind and are excited about what we're doing. So now that that's done, now it's a combination of, we have a marketing campaign where we're going to put Miko on these really big, not huge, but like very big banners that can go inside of restaurants. And we have a couple that we're hoping to do. I had spoken to the Allen Theater, and I have to touch base with him again, but we'd like one there. Obviously, it's the Allen Theater. We're doing a movie, but he had said about, what will happen is, if you take your selfie with our banner and then post it on any social media and tag #Diaconia Film, take that to the counter and show them, you'll get a free, I don't want to give it away just yet, but it's almost going to be like a Burger King back when I was little, collect them all sort of thing. So if this works, you're going to get a free, I want to say swag from the movie, but it connects to what you're going to be seeing in the movie. So you're going to get a piece of the movie, kind of. And then the Allen Theater had said they would be interested in doing something for you as well, and giving a discount of some form. So we're hoping to do that, and we're hoping to place those at the Allen Theater, and I want to speak to the mall about having one there, hopefully, and another restaurant in town. And we'd like to start with 3. And we had Mika, I want to call her character name, Trinity, back in, and she very kindly came back in for a quick photo shoot so we could get the exact photo we wanted, because we took some on set, and I just wasn't 100% pleased with how they came out. So we lit it up and got a really great photo of her. So that's going to be put on there, and we're going to be ordering those hopefully by the end of the week. So those are going to be hopefully to generate more interest in Lebanon. So people in Lebanon can see these banners, go, wow, what's going on? Because what we realize is, we've had a story in Lebtown. We've had coverage other places. We're trying to hit every social media imaginable. And what we request to you guys, if you're listening, please, like, friend us, like us, Instagram, we're LinkedIn. You can like Anubis Productions on there, or Erik Sawyer, my LinkedIn, share those. We're on Locals. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're pretty much on all of them. So please just share our posts. Put a like on the post. Share the post with your friends. Let them know that we're doing something neat in Lebanon. We're trying to gin up as much energy as we can behind it. I've done this in the past, and I'll be honest, I've spoken to other people who have really needed community backing that were doing something creative, and it's difficult. And I think it's difficult to reach people. It's difficult for them to know you're here because in a small town, a lot of people think that everyone already knows about you. And what I would really like people to know is nobody knows about us. Nobody knows what we're doing. They might have heard of it. I just was at a store. Oh, actually, I just did a shoot for We Are Lebanon, PA, because I also do the We Are Lebanon, PA videos on Facebook. And I had a woman in from a local restaurant who's very active in local theater. And she was like, are you the people that are doing that thing, that film? And that's the thing, like even someone that's connected to this realm of things didn't know we existed in a way. So I really, 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 we need you people to just please share it with your friends. Anybody, if you like us, listen to us, you hate us, share us with your friends. I mean, we just need people to be aware of it, see what we're doing and see what's going on. So where we're at now is we're going to use those marketing tools, hopefully, to get more awareness out there. And then also what I'd like to do is be able to, for the next shoot, not October, but for the next shoot, be able to say to businesses, hey, we'll put your name really big on 3 more banners or whatever the next banners we do, and hey, we'll share we will share your company, we'll share your tag, we'll tag you and everything on everything we're putting out. Because if you're aware, if you're looking, I mean, we're putting out a lot of posts. We're really trying to saturate social media, and we're really pushing this local. So if you're a local business, please check out our donor box. There's a way you can get involved there. We're also going to be putting out another package that you can be on all of our banners that we're putting out like this for people to tag themselves in. And we need people to just get behind us. We need people to just throw us $5. That's just going to be a huge help. So we're getting these out now so then we can use them in the next stage of things to attract more businesses. We're also using the banners, to just create awareness. So that's one of the main things we're working on now. I just got dates from my director of photography who was booked with other local film jobs. He works freelance and works with all the major film companies in the area, and he's a great DP. I've worked with him for years. He was my assistant director on my movie The Creek I made back in 2006, and he's given me some dates. He's available at the end of October, but they're going to fill up fast. So now my challenge is to connect his dates with the dates of the people who are volunteering and who I'm hoping to pay if we can bring more money into that donor box. Some of them are willing to volunteer. Some of them need paid. I mean, and they all deserve to be paid. Realistically, the donor box isn't so that I can make money. I have my expenses completely deducted out of what we need in our budget. The donor box is so that we can pay the people who are helping, and so that I don't have to come completely out of pocket for everything. That's what we're looking for your support, because we have so many people that are involved. It'll also help us with our marketing, because the more money we can bring into the donor box, the more marketing we can do, the more banners we can put around town, the more things we can get the word out with that way. So that's why if people say well, what's the donor box for? That's what the donor box is for. It's so that we can just have money so we have resources, because unfortunately in this business, resources, money equals resources, and you need resources to do some of the things. Again, I have a lot of the things I need in place, which is why I decided to do it without having any backing. But there's still things that they take money. So one of those people is getting great qualified people on board who have busy lives and busy schedules. So some of them have said, look, if you do it this day, this day, this day, we can do for free those days. So now the challenge is going to be matching up the talent schedule with the DP schedule, with the volunteer schedule. And I have to speak to the location. I had spoken to a gentleman over at one of the Bethlehem steel complexes, and he was really nice. It was earlier this year, actually. And he was saying, if we want to shoot something there anytime, just let him know. And crossing my fingers that that's the case, because we definitely would like to shoot there. I have an exterior shot there that was going to be amazing. If you look at the trailer, we've put it out online. I'll put it out again soon, though, what the second shoot's going to consist of. But the second shoot consists of Trinity or Mika outside with some other people. So we'll be hitting up some extras. And they're basically going to be homeless people outside of this abandoned sort of looking giant warehouse area, rundown area in town. We're hoping to have like, the whole 50-gallon drum, with a little fire coming out of it. And we're going to have to get some shots of them because our character Ulima actually drives by on a bus and sees her. Now, we don't need the bus for this one. But what we do need is, that location. And then I'm also going to be bugging him about any interior locations. We also, a while ago, talked to the owner of the Boxy, and he was very generous too, saying we could shoot in the Boxy if we need to. And that was actually my original thought. But I am kind of leaving that secondary right now, because if we could shoot at the Bethlehem Steel Complex and shoot the exterior there and the interior there, it would mean we don't have to do what's called a move. So we don't have to pack everything up, move it all to another location. I mean, there'll be a move there because we'll obviously have to move to the interior. But if we're there, we could also set up the exterior and have, if we have enough resources for more crew, have crew setting up an interior shot. And we don't need a huge space in the building, but the other shot is going to be the big audio shot, because realistically we have Raphael as the audio thread through this whole trailer that we're making. So Raphael is addressing, his people, and we want this really great looking shot of like dollying in on him through a crowd of his gang members, and it's going to come up on him as he delivers his speech. That's the trailer. And again, I'll repost that script up. You can actually, on Donor Box, there's a donation that if you hit that, the reward is a signed copy of the script that we'll mail to you. So if you're interested in that, definitely hit up the Donor Box. So we're going to have it rolling in as he gives this, and then we're going to have close-ups and, a bunch of other shots besides that. But realistically, this really cool dolly shot that's slowly going to move in on him through the crowd as he's giving this really powerful speech about it's their town and really ginning up his gang. So we're going to get that as well. And then once we get that, we are going to have what we call shot out Trinity and Jalil, because their two characters will be completely shot out then. We'll have all the footage we need for them, and then their sections will be done. So then after that, we look toward the next part of the script, which is probably going to be at the Lebanon Valley Mall, although I also wanted to add a sequence for the Allen Theater. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do that yet, but there's also, the Lebanon Valley Mall sequence we're doing. So if we get that done, though, that would be a big section. Oh, and then we also have another shoot that has to happen, which is going to be with the Ulima arriving on the bus and at a bus stop. And we're really hoping to be able to work with Lebanon Transit on that. We've been in touch with them. They had said they're open to a proposal. So I wanted to get a little bit more in the can, a little bit more great footage out there, so that we could then propose to them like, hey, this is all the things you can get out of it. So not only can we, hopefully use a Lebanon Transit bus, which would be amazing, but maybe they'd even want to come on board as a business and get sponsorship out of it as well, and sponsor something so they could get the marketing out of it as well for Lebanon Transit. I've done a bunch of work for Lebanon Transit through News Productions, and they're great people. So no matter what happens, they're great people. But it's just another idea, because again, like in the whole where we're at with things idea of this podcast, this is how it works for this. It's always where you're at. It's okay, how can we move this forward? What can we do to get support from this? Or what can we get support from? Like, who can support us? Who would support you? It's always a trying to figure out how you can craft your idea to what's local and who locally supports you, and how you can make something out of that. My first film, The Creek, I basically spoke with a friend of mine who said I could shoot some scenes at his garage at night when he was closed, because he had a mechanic's garage. And then I spoke with actually the same guy. His dad and uncle owned a cabin out in Lickdale, and I spoke with him and his dad and uncle, and they were like, just don't burn it down and do whatever you want. And I was like, cool. So then I went and I wrote The Creek just for those locations, because I knew I had them and I knew I could do them, because The Creek was a low budget film itself. The shooting budget was $18,000. The total budget was $25,000 with marketing and with having post-production and getting it ready for release to festivals and festival submissions. So in the world of film, that was a no-budget film. But it went on to be available through Netflix, Blockbuster, and all major places. I think Walmart you could order it from. which was really amazing to have something at that limited of a budget. But the only problem with limited budgets like that is they only have a limited ceiling. They really don't have a lot of room to go, because nobody's going to back that. A bigger distributor, they'll release it, but the marketing's all on you. Getting the word out, obviously, again, marketing's all on you. They're not going to put it out in such a way that it really has a chance to meet a broad audience. So we're doing this because this is actually something we can pitch to a bigger distributor and say to them, look, we're going to do this, and it's going to be this quality, and it's going to look this amazing, and here's our story. And that way, hopefully we can get them on board so that we can get the financing we need to do this right. And that way it has a chance, because if they're vested in it, then they're more interested in it. They're more interested in seeing it succeed, obviously, if they're vested in it. So that's kind of the goal behind it, and the where we're at sort of thing. And that describes shoot 2, which October is the end of this week. We need to shoot the end of October. So that's something I need to get on immediately and contact the gentleman over at the Bethlehem Steel and hopefully track him down and lock that in and play the calendar game of getting everybody on board the same dates. It could get pushed to November. I'm really hoping not to. It's hard right now because we've only gotten one donation to the donor box, and if I have more support locally through that, then I can pay people more, and people are more flexible when they're getting paid, because now they can take a day off of freelancing on a regular, well, it's not a day off. They don't have to say, well, if I get a gig that I'm paid for, I can't do your gig. And that's what a lot of times happens. The production people I know will say, well, I'd love to do your gig, but I'm not going to turn down a paid gig. And I don't blame them. It just makes it difficult, which is why we're doing the Diaconia, the donor box, for Diaconia, so that hopefully we can get some resources. So again, if you can support us, $5 is amazing. Like, it all adds up. Honestly, though, share this. Let your friends know, please. LinkedIn, everything. Share this podcast. Share our Facebook page, our Twitter page. We need people to know we exist, that we're doing this. We're doing something neat. We're doing it in Lebanon. And hopefully, if it works out, we could do something. It's scheduled to be a 12-episode series that, would hopefully run on a Netflix, a Hulu, a Roku, a PureFlix, any of the major streaming networks. And they're all looking for content now. So it's definitely a possibility it can happen, but we need your help. So thank you so much. And please share away. Have a great day. Bye.
The Diaconia Podcast. They walk among you.